Shalom. All praises goes to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Hakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Millstone who taught me this truth, who taught us this truth through the Spirit. Citations to the brothers I did pushing this word in all sincerity and honesty, the hopeful elect, the number we all strive to be part of, and Brother Korah Allah. What I'm going to do is play this quick video on YouTube. Some stores board up ahead of election day's tension. And I'll bring a few scriptures, and lo, will that'll be the lesson. All right, without further ado.
From sea to shining sea, America today is a boarded up nation. Stores fearing civil unrest are doing what they can to protect their businesses. This is probably the premier shopping street in America, Fifth Avenue in New York City.
And look at this, we are right down the street from Trump Tower, very swanky shopping area of Fifth Avenue. Harry Winston store, boarded up. This is Brink right next door, also boarded up. They're in the process now also of boarding up this store right here, Blancpain.
It's like they're preparing for a hurricane, only this crisis has nothing to do with Mother Nature's wrath. Macy's flagship store on 34th Street is still open for business, but forget about window shopping. They did try to dress things up a bit by painting the plywood blue. At this command center in New York, security expert Pat Brosnan keeps a watchful eye on his clients' businesses.
We have a range of factors that are all contributing to the likelihood of a significant increase in violent behavior, particularly gun violence. That's the real trouble. That's what has people worried to death.
Cliff Kahn owns Lexington Lumber, and he says he's never been busier.
And what are people saying to you when they're coming in?
Just getting ready for what happens tomorrow. Hopefully nothing.
At the White House, a non-scalable fence is being erected. The National Guard is on red alert if there's any attempt to storm the grounds. Even swanky Beverly Hills, scene of several violent confrontations, is bracing for the worst. Jim Murray is there.
Many businesses in Beverly Hills were caught off guard by looting and vandalism over the summer, and they're not taking any chances with potential violence prompted by the election. Many windows along Wilshire Boulevard, including those here at the famed Beverly Wilshire Hotel, are already being boarded up.
Someone tries to come in and do some criminal acts, it'll be dealt with swiftly.
One thing's for sure, uncertain days are ahead for all of us.
Yep, that's right. And you know what? That's beautiful. All right, because this is what the men of the Lord, which you know are apostles of GMS, are definitely the men of the Lord. It only makes sense, okay, for them to be, men of the Lord, prophets. All right. Now, real quick, let me go to Ezekiel 33. All right. It says Ezekiel 33, and I start at 31. And they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness, which their heart is the mind. All right. Now, you had the men of the Lord out there in the highways and byways, all right, prophesying the downfall of America, destruction coming to America, all right, and people listening, but they're not hearkening onto the words. Instead, they go on with their, like it says, covetousness, all right. They go on doing anything else except for obeying the Lord's statutes and commandments. It says, and lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that has a pleasant voice and can play well on an instrument, for they hear thy words, but they do them not. So the words that the men out there on the highways and byways, lower on part of that number, we're speaking are through this Bible, or these prophecies that must come to pass. It's entertaining. It might seem entertaining, out there screaming, breaking down scriptures, getting on people, getting on Esau. It might seem entertaining, but this is not for entertainment. All right. The Lord said, go out there and warn the people. All right. It says, and they hear thy words, but they do them not. Right. Because people ain't stopping being thieves. All right. People are not stopping being, and mainly who? The nation of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. You aren't stopping you didn't stop. People aren't stopping breaking the laws, statutes, commandments of the Bible, such as what? Committing adultery, being homosexuals. All right. Eating abominable foods such as crab, shrimp, lobster. All right. They're not coming back to the Lord. They're not serving the true power. It says, for they hear thy words, but they do them not. Verse 33. And when this comes to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet has been among them. Right. When chaos comes. All right. Destruction. World War III. The RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast. All right. And I said World War III. World War III is upon us. Those missiles are already built. All right. There's already high tension. Okay. There's so many things going on right now besides the election. That's just adding fuel to the fire. All right. And when this come to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet has been among them. Now you're going to realize who's been telling the truth. All right. Who's been really warning the people. And you're going to realize that you were wrong for not listening. All right. And you may have judgment coming your way. Unless you part of the elect. Which if you part of the elect, you wake up out of that, you know, out of that misery, out of that folly, you know, out of that worldly state of mind and come back to the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But the majority of people are 2/3. Okay? The 2/3 ain't gonna hearken, and it's gonna be too late. I'll read that again. Ezekiel 33 and 33. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet has been among them. Right. And we see the uprising, man. People are buying guns. People are weaponizing their cars, their homes. People are buying security for the businesses, boarding up their stores out of fear. All right, out of fear. Now that's Second Ezra, which I'm gonna get Second Ezra, and Lord will, I'm gonna end it there. All right. This is Second Ezra 15. I start at 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. All right. Which woe is destruction. It says, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And this is taking place worldwide. All right. Uproars of the people. Okay. But now things are hitting America. That virgin daughter Babylon. All right. It says for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. If the sword represents destruction, but the ultimate sword is a thermonuclear missile. All right. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Okay? So now in America, there is a split. There's a fears of what? Civil war. All right? And people are arming themselves. Guns at an all-time high. Gun sales at an all-time high. All right? They ain't buying the guns to go target practice. They're buying these guns to kill if they have to. A lot of these people are buying these guns with thoughts or they're buying these guns just to kill. All right? Which the scripture also going to spirits traded for vengeance. All right? It says for the swords. It says, verse 15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And this really goes into race wars. All right? Mainly the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Israel, going up against who? Edom, Esau. All right? And these heathen nations. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. There you go. For there shall be sedition among men. Let me go into this word sedition. Let's just look it up real quick. Sedition. Incitement. Conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. Okay? So people are going to rebel against the government. That's why the government is also bringing in what? Those troops, the military. All right? To reinforce order. All right? And that's leading to what? Mainly martial law. All right? So let's go on. It says, verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And you saw in the YouTube, you saw people, that's Beverly Hills, people running up in the stores and taking whatever they want and rioting and looting, and they did not regard the police, did not regard any authority. The same thing is happening all across the world. All right? And now this election has people in fear to the point they're boarding up their businesses and buying guns. All right? And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right, martial law. All right? Curfews. Okay? Checkpoints. All right? Another thing is those vaccinations. Those forced vaccinations. Because the COVID-19 is another thing that's going on amongst all these other things. The COVID-19 is still on the rise. All right? So Biden said it. Biden said it's going to be a dark winter. That's whether he gets elected or not. It's going to be a dark winter. All right? And when you go into the scriptures, the Lord said, listen, the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. All right? So Lord will, man. This might be the year or next year or sometime soon. Lord will. It says, verse 18, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And America, all right, or I could say the so-called white man, which is in rulership, all right, pushes that pride, all right, pushes that pride on people. Now, when you talking about pride, you go into the scriptures. It says, "Well, pride go before a fall." All right, so it's only right this place is going to fall. America, this so-called white man's kingdom. It's only right it's going to fall. All right, so these things happening now are beautiful because these are the things that the Lord's men been out there on the highways and byways prophesying about. All right. So anyways, with that, I hope brothers were edified. I'm gonna say all praise goes to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shem Hakwadash, double honesty apostles and elders Grand Millstone. Salutations to the brothers out there pushing this word in all sincerity and honesty. Shalom.